The following program is brought to you by the Internet Broadcasting Organization.
Sunday morning, 2 Cent Sports and Entertainment coming at you on Sunday morning afternoon. Sunday morning afternoon? What do you mean, Scuba? I mean, we start at 11 a.m. and we go till 1 p.m. Sunday morning afternoon.
I bet you feel creative.
Sometimes.
Okay.
The things come to me sometimes and they don't always make sense.
Obviously.
However, here we are.
Because I didn't get that.
Yeah. Very true. But here we are coming off a slow week in sports and a disappointing week in sports for me on a certain level. We'll get into all that. But we welcome you. I think we may possibly have a couple new listeners. I'm not sure.
It's because we're like famous.
I don't know. We're trying to be. We'll see what happens with that. But so we got a few things to talk about today. We may go the full 2 hours. We may not. We'll just have to see how things go. Again, there wasn't a whole lot going on this week, except a lot of stuff repetitive things that have kind of blossomed over the last couple weeks. So, but anyway, I am your host, Scuba, and there's your host and co-producer, or producer and co-host on the other side of the wall, making noise with his drink. You're looking at the coach down there in the corner.
McDonald's sweet tea tastes really good.
Okay.
I pick one up every show.
Yeah, I'm originally a northern boy. We don't, and Midwestern boy. We don't drink sweet tea.
Oh.
Sweet teas is for, I can't. I'm not going to say
Okay.
the word.
Well, what do you drink?
I drink unsweet tea, straight up, brother.
And you drink our unofficial sponsor, Monster.
Well, this is true, and of course I have some right
That's
here.
right.
But anyway, I like your shirt.
Thank you. Don't like yours. I like your hat.
Yeah.
Your shirt is pretty gross. However, Mark Teixeira had his bat going last night.
He did, and the Yankees have won 3 in a row, and they are back in first place. And the Rays sit in the bottom of the cellar,
Which is annoying.
Yes,
They're embarrassing.
They really
themselves.
Are. They really are. That was my pick to win the division, if we remember. That's not panning out so well. And but the Red Sox lost 3 in a row as well, so that's always a good thing.
Oh, absolutely.
But it's a tight American League East race. I think really, even with the Rays in last place and 6 games under 500, they're still only 4.5 out.
Yeah.
Clearly, no one in this division wants to run away with anything. They're just going to beat each other up all season. Quite honestly. The way things are shaping up right now in that division, it looks like, you can get away with winning that division with 90 wins. And that's generally unheard of in that division.
Absolutely.
I also thought that we might have the wild card coming out of that division. I'm also very skeptical about that. It's looking like that's probably going to come out of the West. So we'll see. Things are, some teams are starting to separate themselves, though. Detroit is amazing baseball team right now, sitting in first place in the Central.
Yeah.
Definitely not my pick, but that was one of my. I went with KC to win that division. That was kind of one of those shot in the dark ones, but it wasn't a dark horse one. A long baseball season to go yet, but Detroit's opened up a 6.5 game lead now, 5-game win streak, and you got Oakland in the West, kind of starting to show themselves a little bit, sitting in first place, 3.5 game lead. Of course, with the Houston Astros bringing up the bottom. And I only bring up the Houston Astros because coming up next month, a month from now, the Houston Astros will be making a visit to the Trop here in St. Pete.
That's awesome.
It's very awesome.
And everyone wonders why we talk about the Astros, and that's because our former UConn boy, George Springer, who actually made a stellar catch, if you guys didn't see it. I believe they played it on ESPN a few times.
You did?
Hell yeah, he's the starting Houston Astros right fielder.
Yep. And your sister's former boyfriend.
Wow.
Not for real.
I'll find that picture and I'll put it up there.
Your mother has it at her work.
Does she?
Yes, your mother
at her work?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yep, she has it up at her work.
Real quick, I just forgot to mention, if you guys would like to call in on any topic we discussed today, and I've completely forgot.
Well, we kind of dove into the show. I'm sorry about that.
We did. It's all right.
Here's the particulars.
That's right. 813-639-8255. The lines are open all show on any topics you'd like to discuss, any comments you have, etc. And if you guys would like to chat us on the Facebook, it's 2 Cent Sports and Entertainment Show. Go ahead and send us a message. We'll read it on air, or if not, we'll just answer your question.
That's right. But anyway, getting kind of back to UConn baseball this week, the AAC baseball college baseball tournament starts on Wednesday at in St. Petersburg or Clearwater. Excuse me.
Come on,
Bright House Field. Well, Bright House Field in Clearwater starts Wednesday afternoon. I don't know. Are we going to be there?
Wednesday? No.
Oh, that's the first day.
Well, it's school, dude.
And I got work, but I can find a way to get out of that.
Well, I can find a way to get out of school. But the thing is I have to miss not only 1 day, but 2 days and then 3 days, and I have exams coming up.
So?
Those dreaded exams.
Well, I only asked because, it starts Wednesday. As we know, UConn baseball has struggled this year, and they'll be lucky to make it past the first day, or second day at least.
Well, which sucks. I mean,
I actually think that you don't get eliminated the first day. I think you at least get in the 2 or 3 days. You just don't make it to the weekend. Pardon my apple.
Yeah, did you stop at racetrack for that?
No, Wawa.
Oh, Wawa. That's right. That's right. That's right. You stopped going to the racetrack because the exit's closed.
Right.
What the hell?
Wawa is much better anyway.
Okay. Well, go check out the Wawa down here on Waters.
Or anywhere that they're popping up. It took so long for them to get to Florida. I'm happy for it.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that tournament starts this week. It's unlikely they're going to make it to the weekend though. They're just struggling really bad.
Yeah.
And I think they're just barely qualifying for the tournament, to be honest. But
I think Tom Verdi, actually, my sister's current boyfriend, actually, I believe, won them the game the other day with a walk-off single, and actually that's the game that cemented their fate and put them in the tournament.
Correct.
Correct.
So it's been a tough year. It's been nothing more than they just have not had the bats.
No, they haven't at all.
And that's huge. I mean, that's what the Rays are going through right now.
UConn really hadn't had bats, though, in the past few years. I mean, they may have, like a George Springer, and then maybe, I don't know, who was the big guy last year? It was...
well, they've had some guy. I mean, you had Alt a few years ago, who actually now plays third base for the Cubs.
Yep.
You had LJ, and... you had some hitters. I'm not saying that they were massive hitters or anything, but you got guys that could get on base. I mean, some of these guys just can't even get on base. When you don't even get on base, it's difficult to score runs. I mean, that's, there's no logic behind that. It's just a fact. They're young. They're young kids. They're a young team. They got great arms. And that's what's really kind of kept them in a lot of the games that they've had this year. And, look, Jimmy will get them turned around. He knew this was going to be a transition year, and these kids will get a lot of experience, and I think they're gonna be better, and they'll be back right where they are. It's just it's just one down year, and that's just simply they lost a lot last year, and they were missing Tom for most of the year, and it's just the way it goes. They'll get rid of Louisville at the end of the year too, so that's one less good baseball team in that conference, so that might help things too.
Now, do you think with the loss of St. John's and Seton Hall and those few other teams putting them into the Catholic, is it the Catholic 7?
No, they're actually took the Big East name.
Oh, okay. But do you think losing those teams and getting the addition of these new teams, some stuff like UCF and other teams like that, do you think that's been an advantage for the UConn Huskies, or has it been a disadvantage?
Well, it depends. I mean, because you got the other teams that are in that conference, the Houstons and stuff like that, that don't have bad baseball. If you're talking baseball, anyway. I mean, if you're talking in general, overall conference wise, I think the jury's still out on that. I think that clearly it's not as good as the Big East was. That's a fact. In various sports, I mean, in baseball, I'm not sure that it's much of a big loss. I think that actually, from a baseball standpoint, well, now that they'll be losing Louisville, maybe not so much. I think they've got a better conference composed of teams with baseball.
Yeah.
Basketball, clearly they don't have a better conference. But they can still win a national championship from it anyway. And, it is what it is. And I think what's happening here is these mega conferences that are, the Big 10-13, and I call them the Big 10-13 because that's how many teams they actually have, and they still refuse to change the name of that conference, which is just, there's, and I'm going to go off on a little tangent here.
Bring it on.
There's tradition, and then there's just like, get over it, and still calling yourself the Big Ten, it's time to get over it. You haven't had 10 teams in probably about 10 years. Get over it. You have more than 10 teams. Time to change the name of the conference, okay? And all you've done is add more teams. Now you just look even more stupid. And it was kind of cute when you had the Big Ten, and then you found a way to put the number 11 in between, your Big Ten. But that doesn't work anymore because you have 13 teams now, okay? So change the name of the conference already. Anyway, I digress. What I was getting at was that all these mega conferences, the Big Tens, Pac-12s, and Pac-14s, or whatever they're becoming anymore, they're becoming so large. But I think the ultimate goal, outside of just becoming probably breaking it down to mostly probably going to have about 4 major conferences: the SEC, Big Ten, Pac-12, and the ACC are probably going to be the only major conferences remaining. I think ultimately what's going to happen is that these conferences are getting so big that they're going to eventually form their own association and break away from the NCAA. That's my feeling. Now, it's not going to happen tomorrow. It's not going to happen next week or anything like that. But I think that's ultimately what's happening here. The NCAA, I think we can all agree, definitely has some issues, a lot of hypocrisy, and in a lot of cases, it's a joke. Some of the decisions that they make, some of the decisions they don't make, some of the things they do, or some of the things they don't do, or just, again, a lot of the hypocrisy things, that go on. With regards to what's a violation, what's not a violation, all those things. We don't need to go through the whole laundry list. I think, anybody that, knows a little bit about it understands that some of it's really ridiculous. And I think that the only way that they're going to get away from that and start over is to basically do exactly that. Start over. Break away from the NCAA and form their own intercollegiate association, and basically start from scratch. And it's not hard to do. Everybody's saying, "Oh, how can you do it?" Well, they did it once before the NCAA was formed, and the NCAA has just gotten so corrupt, and it's become an animal to the point where they're not able to fix things that are easily fixable, and again, there's just so much hypocrisy. And so everybody kind of knows what's wrong with the system, and to form a new intercollegiate conference or association, it would not be that difficult, because now you know what kinds of things you need to do to put into your governing laws and so forth, and it'd be a fresh start. These colleges and stuff would no longer be constrained to some of the ridiculousness that the NCAA puts in. Honestly, the NCAA doesn't have any power as long as the schools all get together and say that they don't have any, and that's going to be the problem. That's going to be the stumbling block. And but that's what I foresee happening. I can't tell you when it's going to happen, but I know I'm not in the majority on this, but I'm also not in the minority. I know there's a lot of thought out there that that's the case. So give me your, if you have any thoughts on that, certainly like to hear it. I think it's a good idea. I think it needs to be done. It's time that either, if they're not going to change the NCAA, then they need to get rid of it or get out of it and form their own. So if you have any thoughts on that or anything else, again, that number is 813-639-8255 up there on your screen. We do have some guests coming on later today to talk about a couple other subject matters that have come up this week. But we must touch on our normal subject matter it's just going 5 weeks deep of being depressing to talk about anymore. Our beloved and now 3-6 Tampa Bay Storm. I do not know what is going on with this team right now. They lost again Friday night to the Philadelphia Soul, 62-34. This is a team that they faced back when they were undefeated when they were 3-1, not undefeated. They were 3-1. They had come off they really should have been 4-0 going into the game they played against them the first time. They were 3-1 because they fumbled away a simple fall on the ball and allowed Orlando to win. And to me, that's the key. That's when things kind of just went ballistically bad. But they rebounded. They came in the next week and they faced this same Philadelphia Soul and beat them 63-49 pretty handily. And went 4-1. Or made it, or was it? Yeah. No. Anyway, that made him 3-1. I stand corrected. I don't know how that happens. But anyway, since that point, they've lost 5 in a row. They're now 3-6, and then the same team that they destroyed just a few weeks ago destroyed them. And this is becoming a situation over these last 5 weeks that they aren't just losing close games. They're just getting their asses handed to them each and every week. It's unacceptable. I think they quit.
You think they've finally given up?
I think they quit. It was evident in some of the interviews we were having, a couple weeks ago, going into the bye week. I mean, they had a bye week going into this game even.
Yep.
2 weeks off.
Yeah.
We didn't have our starting quarterback, but I think, we have been bashing our starting quarterback for the long haul. And,
but hip wouldn't have made a difference, in my opinion.
I don't believe it would have made much of a difference either. It's clearly, these guys quit, and it's been hinted at, been talked about. And I no longer have any confidence in these guys whatsoever. I mean, I'm not gonna quit pulling for them and cheering for them, and I'll be out there next week, or I guess this week now. And
who are we taking on? The Jacksonville Sharks.
Yep.
And that is May 24th.
Who, by the way, did you see how you probably didn't? How Jacksonville lost this week?
Yes, I did. It was on ESPN this morning.
Yeah,
that's right.
did you see
Jacksonville
that?
attempted to do a 50-yard field goal to win the game. Who were they playing? Was it
Orlando?
Or it was Orlando.
How many games is Orlando going to win? Luckily,
I know.
It's driving me batshit.
And anyway, so the Orlando kick returner, the kick was short. He took it back 50 yards and scored to end the game
with 2 seconds. Well, I think there were like 2 seconds left, but for all intents and purposes, ended the game. So a 50-50 game. Jacksonville tries to kick a field goal, and man, you gotta at least hit the net, man.
Oh, I know. I mean, my God, he was like 5-10 yards short.
Yeah.
Did they get our old Tampa Bay Storm kicker?
I don't know.
That's really mean, but it's kind of true.
I have no idea, but so at 3-6, I mean, technically they're still not out of it, but that's a hole they're not going to dig out of. I'm afraid they're not showing any signs of doing that at all. It even picked up another quarterback this week. They threw him in there, and he didn't do anything either. There's just really not, I mean, it's pretty bad when your game notes to find positives includes head coach Lawrence Samuels being a perfect 5-5 on challenges. I mean, if that's the kind of statistic you got to put in your positive column, that's not a good sign.
Now, here's the question. Speaking of Coach Samuels, is this a coaching problem? I don't think so.
I think it's an execution problem.
Yes.
And it's a head problem.
I think that they've definitely practiced this stuff in practice over at Skyway, and I think when they go and implement these things, they're just not executing.
Right.
You know, when you don't have a steady quarterback, when you have nobody who can actually throw the ball to you, one just beams the ball, one lobs the ball 15 yards above you.
Yep.
I don't even know how that other quarterback did last night, but you said he really didn't do anything.
No, he came in the fourth quarter after they got shut out in the third quarter because they were only down by 1 point at halftime, and they got shut out 21-0 in the third quarter. And
yeah,
it was all over.
You know, and going back to the head game, you know, when you have players who, you know, and I'm going to stay away from the name, but you know, who are headstrong, who feel like they need to be that guy. You know, it's a bunch of it's a bunch of egos trying to mash together, making excuses, and it's just it's awful.
Yeah, I mean, the lone point last night was Joe Hills. You know, another 100-yard game, 3 touchdowns. You know, say what you will about Joe. I mean, he still does give it an effort out there, and you know, which I called him out about last year about that, and I know he's frustrated, and now I think at this point this team's just going through the motions, and I don't think it's necessarily a coaching problem. I think it's an execution problem, and the quarterback is clearly the biggest issue. And I said this a couple weeks ago that, you know, the one thing that makes you a successful team in this league is to have an effective and efficient quarterback. And the Storm do not have that. They have not had that for some time. And the last time the Storm were successful
was when Adrian McPherson was starting.
Well, yeah, that's true. That unfortunately didn't last very long because he got hurt. But I mean, I'm even talking historically. They may not have had a championship since 2003.
Yeah,
but they were still successful and competitive because they had good quarterbacks even still after that. You know, Shane Stafford, Brett Dietz, still put up huge numbers. It just their issues. You know, they just didn't make it through all the way through the playoffs. But right now, we have not had a quarterback in the last few years, and that's the biggest thing. That is the biggest thing right now.
Yeah, and I just, you know, and I hate saying this because, you know, I'm all for this Tampa Bay Storm being signed and moving on to a better, you know, a better future. But what did the Canadian League see in Chris Smith? You know,
you might be thinking of his brother Donald.
Was it Donald Smith who got taken? I apologize.
No. You're right. It was Chris Smith that was taken, but Chris Smith is the Storm's
He's the
best
good
defensive.
one.
Yes.
Right, my fault. Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
They're twins.
Yes.
Yeah, my fault. So anyway, basically...
Or the Davises, as you like to call them.
Yeah, I don't know where the hell I get that from. I have no idea. God. But anyway, the defense falls apart every game. It makes no sense. Chris Hovan, you know, we sit right next to the bench. We don't understand, you know... We don't understand. You know, he doesn't even understand sometimes.
Yep.
He's just looking at like, what the hell? You know, Coach K will give a signal, and they're like, okay, yeah, we got it, and then touchdown. Like, what the hell?
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely frustrating. So there's going to have to be some big changes at the end of the season. I got to finish the season first. You know, I'm not so sure that their approach to putting together the team that they want to put together is the right way anymore because, you know, look, the Storm personnel and stuff, they want all these players to succeed, and if they have a chance to go elsewhere and so forth, then they do. And we were talking about Chris Smith, who's the Storm's best defensive back. We literally just got him back from injury a couple weeks ago, and then he just got picked up by a Canadian football team, the Montreal Alouettes, which is good, great for Chris. His brother was really, honestly, the problem.
You know, hey, you know, what we say about the Tampa Bay Storm, we're not trying to influence you not to go to these games.
No.
You know, we may say that they didn't play well, but give me a break. It's entertaining as hell. Get out there. May 24th against Jacksonville Sharks. Tickets are what, $10 for the lower section?
Actually, they're running a Bright House fan pack, 2 tickets, 2 hot dogs, 2 sodas for $29.
That's damn.
Right?
Because
so less than $14.50. You can get for a person, you can get a ticket, hot dog, and a soda. I don't like hot dogs, but still, that's not the point.
No, when we go to games, we get the nachos with that crappy ass cheese.
You get
M&Ms.
You get ribs, baked chicken, pasta, cookies, more cookies, brownies, more pasta, more chicken, more ribs, more cookies, and then you go to the next buffet and you get some brisket, then some cheese, more cookies. Then you get some pasta again, and then it's.
I always grab a sausage.
Yes, and then I was going to say, and then you go get a sausage, another load of brisket, and then you go back to the other room and pick up all the scraps
and more cookies. Now, do I really get? Is it? Let me tell you. You know, I'm going to do this week, folks. I'm gonna make a list of each and everything I eat so I can name it off next week on the show. Do I really eat that much when I go there?
You do.
I don't even notice it.
You do. That's all you ever think about. We go and eat. We go walk out on the field to watch. Just the pregame, or where they're just kind of warming up and running around. And I'm still hungry. I gotta go back. I'll be back later.
I never say that. Do I really?
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
It's like we just walked out. We just got done eating. I'm hungry. I'm gonna go get something more to eat.
What I remember, and I remember it clearly, is when I walked out onto the field. God, what time is it? Is it like 6? Is it 7 yet? God, one of the other buffet is open.
Yeah, that's it. Your first thinking is, I got to find, is the other one open yet? Really? You just got done eating? Yeah, but I'm still hungry.
That's terrible.
Belly's rumbling. I think it has a mind of its own.
Yeah.
Oh well. But anyway, enough to talk about that. We got some guests coming on, like I said, and actually Zach's in charge of that. But for right now, we're gonna shift gears. We got at the bottom of the hour though. We got some sponsors we gotta give some love to. A little music. So we're gonna take a quick break here. I'll let Zach take you out.
Law is a former state prosecutor with substantial experience in handling all criminal and DUI matters. When you are facing charges, you want someone who aggressively defends cases ranging from minor traffic infractions to serious violent first-degree felonies. Call attorney Butash and together you'll discuss your case in person or by phone. He accepts most major credit cards and also offers payment plans. Call attorney Michael G. Butash today for your initial free consultation.
Good afternoon, or good morning, and welcome back to this 2 Cent Sports and Entertainment Show. That picture on the screen, by the way, is your co-producer, our co-host, Mr. Zach. That was him last week, preparing to go pick up his date for the prom. In case you were wondering who that was on the screen. Yes, that was him last week on his way to go pick up his date from the prom.
Mm-hmm.
So,
all right, well, joining us at this time, Bright House varsity reporter and Tampa Yankees color analyst, Zeeland Shannon. Zeeland, welcome to the show.
Hello, Zeeland. Zach?
Sorry.
What'd you do?
I'm an idiot.
I know that, but what'd you do?
I don't know. I can't help it. I'm stupid. I feel.
Do I have to fill space now until you figure it out again?
No, because here he is. That is my fault. Zeeland Shannon, Tampa Yankees color analyst and Bright House varsity reporter. How you doing today?
I'm great. How are you?
We're doing great over here. Appreciate you calling in. How are things right now?
It's been pretty great lately. The Tampa Yankees on a 5-game win streak, so it's always fun to call a game when they're winning. In terms of the Bright House stuff, obviously, I've got one more day of high school left, so I'm not going to be involved with that anymore. But definitely lots of good high school news coming out of it. Just from our high school, Zach Steinbrenner got the volleyball team making the Final Four in the state. You got both soccer teams making regionals. You got basketball team having one of the top players in the county, leading scorer, Keyshawn Ingram, and a lot of fun stuff going on, and it's been a great year.
And you also have the fastest track runner in the state of Florida, Zach Cooper.
Wow.
Must have missed that one. That's for sure.
I'm sure Gatlin would have something to say about that one. Justin Gatlin.
Yeah. So anyway, we were on the topic of football, and Zeeland is here to talk a little bit about what ESPN's been talking about all over the place, and that is a little Buccaneers and a little Michael Sam. So, Zeeland, what are your thoughts on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and what do you think of their draft, first off?
First of all, I think Lovie Smith is an absolutely fantastic coach. I think he brings a lot of hope, and he's an anchor. He's exactly what you want to coach in the National Football League, and I think as much as I was sitting at my TV chanting the name Johnny Manziel when the 7th pick came around, I don't think Mike Evans is a bad pick. I think his route running's a bit poor, but he's got everything you want in a professional wide receiver. He's someone that can go get the football, and with Vincent Jackson maybe cutting underneath on some more post routes, you get Evans going over the top. It's a great 1-2 punch. Did have some question marks about not taking the quarterback at all to put pressure on McCown, but I have the feeling of trust with Lovie Smith that just wasn't there. I felt like with Schiano, where you feel like Lovie Smith has a plan, like he knows what he's doing. He's been around the block. He's been to a Super Bowl. So I think the Bucs are definitely set up for a lot of success in the future. I think McCown's a better quarterback than a lot of people give him credit for, and I think he should be the starter this year because of what he was able to do in Chicago. And I think the Bucs actually have a shot at the playoffs this year, and would not be surprised if they won the division. Because I think the Panthers are going to have a bit of a sophomore slump, so that might open the door. But yeah, the wide receivers for sure good picks.
This sucks because normally I'd like to argue with you, but I agree with everything you say.
I almost do.
What, minus the playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm hopeful, and I'm a Buck fan and season ticket holder and all that good stuff. But let's be realistic about it. They're still not in a position to make a playoffs. Now, anything can happen. This is the NFL. As far as them winning the division, as long as you've still got New Orleans in there, and all they did was load up even further, that's got to be the odds-on favorite to win that division. I agree with you with Carolina. I think Carolina's going to struggle. I think they can finish ahead of Carolina. And we'll have to see how Atlanta rebounds. I mean, Atlanta went complete 360 from the year previous, or 360, 180, excuse me. Got to get my degrees correct. Look, the Bucs will be more competitive, but to think that they're going to make the playoffs with this team, look, I guess anything's possible. I don't see that right now, and the reason being is not because I don't have confidence with the talent on their team, but you got to look at their schedule. And it's not even just who's on their schedule. You've got to look at how they're facing teams on their schedule. The Bucks have a couple obstacles with them statistically are very unfavorable. They and the Pittsburgh Steelers have two of the most difficult schedules on paper, not because of the opponents they have, but how they're facing their opponents. The Buccaneers face, I believe it's 10 out of their 16 games are facing teams after they have 7 days or more of rest, which is almost unheard of, very unfair as well. Plus, the Buccaneers have a very uncalled for 3 games in a row on the road. And that just doesn't happen, and teams that have to go through something like that, that doesn't equal to a lot of success. So that's my only issue with that. But Zealand, you got a very good point, though. I think Lovey, exactly, that staff knows exactly what they're doing. And I think by not taking a quarterback, that sent a message that my feeling was that these quarterbacks weren't the guys that were going to be your franchise guys, and you got to hold off and wait in hopes that person shows up maybe next year or the year after.
Yeah, I definitely think that the Bucs winning the division is something that's a possibility. By no means is that guaranteed, especially in the division that they're in. I mean, a new team wins that every year. I feel like the team that wins it finishes last the next year every time.
It does seem that way, doesn't it? You're right. It does seem that way.
So the Bucs, I feel like, are in the situation where a couple of years ago they finished 10-6. I think they have the same sort of team now that they did then, where it's kind of a question mark as to how they're going to put it all together. But if on paper you look at it, they have a lot of the right pieces, and it depends on how well those pieces perform. But defensively, they have a very young team, and as they get older, I think they're going to get a lot better. The only problem I see is with the loss of Darrelle Revis. He was such an asset in the division with Cam Newton and Drew Brees, and Brees especially. When you go to that dome in New Orleans, you have to be able to cover all 10 all-pro receivers that team has, or however many it is. And I think that the corner position is going to be what hurts the Bucs the most. They have Jonathan Banks, and he's good, but he's not fast enough, I don't think, to keep up with the elite speed receivers down the side. You're talking about Marcus Colston, and it's a position that that was the only hope that I had in the draft, was that they would address it more and maybe use the first-round pick there, because Evans, I felt like his stats were boosted because he had a passing offense in college, and Johnny Manziel, and I think he was a late first-round pick talent-wise.
Right. Well, let's not forget, though, too, that, although they got rid of Revis, they did pick up Alteron Werner, who's, a Pro Bowl corner in his own right, plays more actually in the system that Lovey and his staff are going to run. They're hoping to resurrect the career of Major Wright, who at one point was a pretty good, defensive back who was pretty awful last year.
Yeah, with the Lions.
Yeah, and I think that although, yes, you losing a guy like Revis, you'd say, oh, no, we're done. But I think you got to understand, too, that the secondary is going to be running a lot different than it was under the previous regime. They're going to have a hybrid Tampa 2, so you're going to be running a little bit more zone schemes than you are so much the man-to-man coverage. And the way that their hybrid defense is going to run, I think they've got better suited guys in there that can fit that mold. I mean, they picked up also DJ Moore. They've got some corners out there, or some defensive backs that I think are going to fill in just fine, and be able to run this defense the way it needs to be. And of course, you never know who else might get released down the road too. So I'm not overly as concerned about that as I am some other issues.
It just kind of comes back to the whole point that this is an untested team, and I think however this year goes is going to determine the direction of the next couple of years. If the Bucs come out and Alteron Werner becomes that true, just shut down corner that the Bucs are hoping he will become, then I think the team is going to go up, especially with the safety play. Barron and Goldson's one of the, in my opinion, one of the best safety tandems you're going to find.
Yep.
Especially with the improvement that's going to happen inevitably, and the young linebacker core and the young guys up front. I think if they all improve this year and they all become what Lovie Smith hopes they will, and will do his best to make sure they will, then this defense is going to be the Bucs defense in a couple of years that won the Super Bowl. I think if they can keep it together, and with the contracts and the injuries, and you never know who's going to get stabbed in a fight like Mike Williams. You don't see that in the future, but if they can keep it together, I think they're going to go upwards. But then again, the flip side of the coin is that Werner comes out and he's got all these high expectations after being all pro and the big contract, or not as big as the other contracts, but if he comes out and just drops the ball and Jonathan Banks' speed then gets exposed as the number 2 corner, and linebacker, maybe you lose David gets hurt or something, the team could go down, and I think it have to be another rebuilding process. So this is definitely a huge year either way.
No question, but I think you also have to agree that if that front four doesn't start putting pressure on the quarterback, it doesn't matter if you have 4 Darrelle Revises back there.
Oh, yeah.
And quite honestly, I believe that's been the Buccaneers' biggest problem, is that front four has been, for the most part, atrocious. Gerald McCoy has stepped up quite a bit. I'm not sure what happened with Adrian Claiborne. He's kind of dipped down a little bit, and I'm concerned that he's really even fallen out of favor with this coaching staff altogether, which is a shame because I know the kind of talent that he is. I watched him all through college, and I'm hoping that they're going to still give him a chance. But they also brought in a couple, the defensive tackle from Seattle and of course Johnson from Cincinnati. I think they're going to finally get that pressure that they need, and you get some pressure up the middle, your secondary has a lot better chance to be successful, and I think they're going to be a lot better in that category. At least I'm hoping. But you're correct about the injuries. We lose a Levante David or somebody like that. There's definitely nobody behind him. So my biggest concern is that injury bug that we hit last year on the running back side of things, and not having the depth behind it.
Yeah, I think the Bucs, the key to success is the people that the layman fan doesn't usually care about too much, and that's really the trenches, and that's where I feel like the Bucs have really struggled. I know going to Bucs games for the last couple of years, just the holding penalties on the offensive side, the inability to run the football that's happened a lot, and especially with the injury to Doug Martin last year.
Yes.
And then the defensive line, just getting gashed by runner after runner in the games that I've been to, and I, of course, watch and listen to every game every season, and it's just I feel like the Johnson from Cincinnati was huge. I feel like he's going to be a lot better than people are expecting because he's not a huge name, but he's a huge guy, and I think he's going to make a big difference. And then I think Golston, the draft from Michigan State, I think he is going to start to come into his own. He was kind of a raw talent, and under Lovie Smith, the defensive coach, I think he's going to start to take over the other side. And then you've got guys like Claiborne, and of course McCoy is just he has really become the only solid starter in the defensive line, which is good to see because the first couple of years he was struggling.
Yeah, no question.
For sure.
No question.
Now, let me ask you, Zeeland, this is something kind of transitioning, and, ESPN's been covering it all over the place. I'm sick and tired of hearing about it. And, the Cleveland Browns have found that it's pretty much a no story. Johnny Manziel, are you sick and tired of that also?
I feel bad for him. I think he has Tebow syndrome. Whatever he did is he attracted the attention of media all over the country. And he's just a guy. Tim Tebow was just a guy, and from what I can tell, they just kind of want to play football. And you can't really blame a 20-year-old for sitting courtside when they give him courtside seats. But they just kind of go after him anyways for that. And I think he's a good football player. He's exciting to watch. He's someone that is part of the new generation of quarterbacks. He's almost like a high school quarterback that's able to take that kind of high school game all the way to the pros, it looks like.
Yep.
With that, just running all over the place, just being a little more athletic than everyone else around you, and being able to spin out and improvise, make plays with instincts and stuff. And I think I just hope that Johnny Manziel can stay in the league because the media attention of the Tebow syndrome knocked Tim Tebow right out of the league. I don't think he deserved to get knocked out of the league. I mean, if you
well,
everyone
that's
has
another
their
story.
opinion on
That's
that.
another story.
He might not have been able to throw a good football, but he was a good football player, and he's someone that you'd like to have in the locker room. At least you can guarantee Tim Tebow's not going to have a problem. I'm not a huge Tebow fan. I think him getting picked in the first round was a huge mistake, but
No.
or him getting completely knocked out of the league after 3-4 years because of the media. I just hope Manziel can avoid that because Tebow's gone, so they needed someone new, and I feel like Johnny Manziel filled the shoes.
Now, let's be honest too. I mean, Cleveland needs all the attention and hype that they can, and excitement that they can possibly bring to that fan base. I mean, they've had absolutely nothing to cheer for almost 30 years now, and you can only take so much. So if it gives them a ray of hope, then good for them. But we won't get too much on a tangent. But let's not blame the media for Tebow not being in the league any longer. He had more than ample opportunity to see that if he could play or not. He clearly couldn't, and that's why he's not playing. It had nothing to do with the media at all. I mean, the hype around him was ridiculous. I agree with you there, but
and I think that in trying to. I'm going to try and flip it again because, like I said, I'm done with Johnny Manziel. I think, and I know you say, Zealand, that, the media is all over him, but I think he's honest to God a media hog, and I feel that any chance he has to get an interview with anybody, to get his name out there, whatever.
He's saying the right things, though. I mean, so far,
yeah.
I mean, it's only been a week or so,
yeah,
or a week or two. He is, so far, he's handling it well. He's saying the right things. So, either he's smart enough to recognize it, or he's got some great people behind him. It's probably a combination of both. He's not a dumb kid. He's not dumb. He is a little arrogant,
extremely.
But you know what? It'll all come out. Either he's going to be successful, or he's not, or he's going to be a guy that's going to bounce around from team to team for the next 5 to 8 years. Who knows? I don't want to see anybody fail. I'm not, but I am kind of tired of all the media attention against for him when he's not even going to be the starter at this point. But it is what it is. But speaking of media attention, the other media attention gatherer this past week or and a half or so since the draft is Michael Sam.
Oh my God!
What's the problem, Zach?
And he says it himself. Okay, he said in the interview when he came out and said he became the first openly gay football player. He said he does not want to be known as Michael Sam the gay football player. He wants to be known as Michael Sam the football player.
Mm-hmm.
And ESPN and all the sports sources constantly go, he's the first football player that's ever kissed his boyfriend on TV. He's the first gay player that's ever been drafted. He's the first gay player that's ever reported to a camp. Okay, he was a 7th round pick that may not even make the team, and the only reason they're talking about him is because he's gay.
Well,
I mean, he went out and got his own reality TV show to chronicle it too. He's feeding the fire at some point.
Well, they actually put a stop to that.
Yeah, the NFL shut that down, and they also shut down the Oprah interview on her show as well.
Yeah. Well,
oh wow.
Yeah, that just came out the other day. But listen, I understand what you're saying, and at some point they just got to let it go and be done with it. But unfortunately, it is a first.
I agree.
And eventually it's going to go by the wayside, and the next person that does it will get less attention. I mean, it's the same thing. When Jackie Robinson, was the first, African-American ball player in baseball, there was a lot of media hype, a lot of things about it. I mean, not obviously to today's extent,
no.
but for those days' standards. And all he wanted to do is be Jackie Robinson, the ball player. And unfortunately, there's always going to be somebody that's going to be a first.
Yeah.
And that's always going to be the big deal until it's not a big deal. And I'm hoping that after this season, or however this works out for him one way or the other, this will be the last time we have to have such a hype about it. Is it getting a little tiresome already? A little bit.
Well, and I'd love to get Zealand's comments on this, but
I was just going to ask him.
Oh yeah. Well, I think that and this is what I wanted to comment on. It's like he was a 7th round pick, almost Mr. Irrelevant, taken by the Rams. Do you think that the media will badger Jeff Fisher if Jeff Fisher cuts him?
I think that in order for this to be a non-issue, the way I look at this is how many times have you heard about Jason Collins since he touched the floor for the Nets? Once it happens, and once there's the big hurrah, and once there's the big rounds of applause, once they step on the field or the court or whatever it is, I think it starts to fade away. It goes away faster and becomes normal faster than people would think it does.
Yeah.
So I think if Sam gets cut, there's going to be a big deal about it, and then some other player is going to have to come out, maybe that's already in the league or whatever, in order to break the barrier down. I'd never understood why Sam was a 7th-round pick. He was the co-defensive player of the year in the SEC. I thought he was a really darn good football player, and I think he dropped because of this media circus that everyone knew was coming, and you can't blame anyone for covering it to the extent that they have. But once he starts playing football, then it kind of run its course. It runs out of fuel, and I think he will be fine. I just hope he makes the team, and I hope, especially on the Rams, it's really tough to make on that defensive line.
Yeah.
I just really hope he makes the team. I'm rooting for him personally because I think it took a lot of guts because he lost a chunk of change because he was projected 4th, 5th round when he came out, ended up getting picked in the 7th round, so he lost some change presumably because of that, and it's not because anyone's a homophobe, but because understandably the media circus you don't necessarily want coming to your team for a guy that's not going to play that much, if at all.
Right.
So
well,
I think it'll go way faster than people think.
Yeah, I mean, I don't recall hearing any projections about that being picked that early. I mean, all the most recent predictions and so forth were that he actually wouldn't get drafted at all. I think the reason being, you can be co-defensive player of the year in the SEC, but that doesn't necessarily translate to success. You can name a lot of players that get a lot of accolades and awards and so forth in college. It just don't translate into the NFL. There's no question about whether or not he was a good football player in college, but the question about him was his size and his speed especially. He did not help himself when he went to the combine and couldn't run under a 5. For a defensive lineman, that's virtually unacceptable. Then his size as a defensive lineman, especially when you're talking about the Rams, who clearly already have a pretty stacked defensive line, probably the best in football right now, at least on paper. And then you've got to go back and you got to see where his statistics, where his big numbers came from this past year. Although they were big numbers, they really came against inferior opponents. When they faced the top tier teams in the SEC, he basically was a non-factor, and you barely even knew he was on the field. That's really the reason why he dropped. I hesitate to blame the media for it all, because the media really didn't have any attention to him until the season was pretty much over. So you can't blame the media for his performance during the season. But you have to kind of look at where his statistics were coming from, and even though he had 11.5 sacks, they didn't really come against the top tier teams. They came against second tier teams.
Yep.
So
yeah, in college, that's just something that happens. I know, like Jadeveon Clowney, coming from the same conference, South Carolina, plays a couple of. I'm a South Carolina fan. A couple of my family members have gone there, so I was following Clowney, and he's defensive end, same position. Obviously, he's a freak athlete and deserves to be picking it in the first round just because he's 6'6", 260 and runs under 4.5-ish time at the combine. That's unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, he only had 3 sacks all year, so it's just kind of, I feel like I'm in the camp, and everyone's in a different camp when it comes to how to evaluate college players, I guess. And, neither of us are NFL scouts, so I guess we're in the wrong camp or something. I don't know. But I feel like if he's got the instincts, the ability to make plays like that, and he should at least get an opportunity. And who knows, maybe he comes to the NFL game, and just like you're saying, he's just too slow. He can't get there. Because he's built definitely to be an outside linebacker in a 3-4. I don't think he's big enough to play defensive end consistently.
Right. I actually said the same thing last week, as a matter of fact. So, I agree with you. If he's going to make it, I don't think he's going to make it in a 4-3 scheme. I think he'd be better suited trying, like you said, an outside linebacker position in a 3-4. And then, like I said, then your question runs into, because that's his size build, but then you run into the question is he's too slow for that position. So that's kind of why I think he's in a position right now that he's on the Rams. It's great. It's not the greatest.
Texans.
It was not the greatest attention-getting team in the league. So he'll get some attention, but it won't be as like an LA market or or a New York market or anything like that. but he's not going to get on that defensive line. I mean, it's just not going to happen.
Yep.
And and they're not going to have an outside linebacker position for a guy that's can't even run under a 5. So if he makes this team, it'll be a miracle. It'll be a special teams most likely. I'd like to see him succeed. I really would. I want to see. I hope I'm wrong. I hope you're more correct than I am there, Zealand. But I guess that's what we have to all wait for. That's what we got something to look forward to, I suppose.
Yeah, it adds intrigue, and in the end, sports is just a big game of reality TV. So got to have the intrigue, or else it isn't fun.
Isn't it? That's the truth. That's the truth.
All right, Zealand. So we appreciate you calling into the show. Would you like to give any of your social media out so people can come check you out?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter at Zealand Shannon, radio guy for Tampa Yankees. Definitely, if you're around, come check it out. We got a beautiful day at the ballpark. I'm here right now. It's got a Game 3 of a 4-game series against the Palm Beach Cardinals, and a lot of top prospects, a couple of Yankees in a couple of years, I'm sure.
What time is that? What time is that game at?
It starts at 1 p.m., and then tomorrow night, got a game at 7. I will not be there. I'll be out of town, so I won't be able to call that game, but definitely Tampa Yankees in town all the way through the summer. So stop by, look for some promotions, check out some games. I'm at Zealand Shannon, and that's my professional social media, so check me out on there if you want any news about that. I also give out my opinions on a lot of stuff that's going on in sports.
And according to Zealand Shannon, he may try and hook me up in the audio there, so you guys will be able to check me out on the Tampa Yankees radio.
Right. I think we might get Cooper over here for a game. We'll see how it works out.
Boom.
Be warned.
Thank you.
All right, Zealand.
All right, I appreciate being on, guys.
All right, thanks a lot.
All right, take care.
Yeah.
See, that was fantastic.
And the Tampa Yankees are very cheap day out as well.
What is it, like $2?
If that. Sometimes they even have dollar night on Thursdays. So
you gotta be kidding me.
So. Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's actually not a bad idea. It's, not a whole lot of people go. So, but we appreciate him calling in, and it was some good stuff right there. So we are running up against the top of the hour. So we will take a quick break. A couple other things to talk about and when we come back, and we'll see how far we go. And
actually, when we come back, we are going to be joined by Alex Weisenmiller, hockey player, who is actually heading over, hopefully getting a scholarship from Michigan State, to talk about some NHL playoffs.
Okay, well, there you go. That's what we'll be after we return from this important message.
I'm at the end of the world, and I stare into the abyss. I look back and wipe a tear from my eye and reminisce about the times that I had. How could they have been better? Maybe have my now, write my in a thank you letter. See, I think about my daughter, how she'll never know a dad. I gaze upon my shoes and see the pair my father had. Should I be mad or maybe sad? Nah, I should be glad. If I was in her life, it'd be worse than the one she had. Cheating on my wife, it was my new 9 to 5. I gave the clap so many times, applause fills my mind. I'm a king on the throne, reality I'm a drone. If home is where the heart is, then I truly am alone. You wanna know a man, walk a mile in his shoes. Don't be so quick to pass judgment on the path that he choose. This is my story and the author is you. So where's my happy ending, cause it's long overdue. I'm tired of this life, constantly burdened by strife. Eternally joining me like husband and wife. I am the alpha and omega, beginning to the end. As death hand approaches, let that second act begin. Trials and tribulations, yeah, we facing as a nation. Got us praying for a savior, cause the end is what we face. Another good time, it was good ride while it lasts. Can't afford to end the win is what we are. I hope that our last is.
Have led off today with a feeling so simple. With me, so why with feelings like these do we feel we're simple? With me,
in the physical form, but what I put up makes a typical storm. You turn your back.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Zach Cooper here from the 2 Cent Sports and Entertainment Show. Are you a small to medium business that can't afford your own IT department? Not sure if you are getting everything you should be from your current communication provider? Are you getting proper discounts, the maximum internet services? Are you under contract or simply have no idea or the time to look into it? Let Tech Media Partners figure it out all for you. With over 25 years of technology experience, let the experts help. They can provide you innovative ways for your company to communicate effectively in today's evolving marketplace. Let Tech Media Partners be your advocate and work for you. They can streamline the process, bypass countless hours spent on appointments meeting with multiple vendors in order to receive one quote, providing you a consultative solution based on your needs and work directly with different suppliers in order to achieve your outcome. Request a free consultation by calling 813-443-8235. They are just as the name sounds, a technical media partner.
Very good. And if you didn't get all that, you do need an IT person or an attorney. There's a number behind me for an attorney, and you can contact us at any time to get information in regards to getting your tech services taken care of. Zach, I think you need to work on that second line. You stumbled over it for the second week in a row, but very good job anyway, nonetheless. So good job back there. We are scheduling to have a guest, and he doesn't even hear me making fun of him.
I did hear you.
Okay. Also, that picture on the screen was also of him. Like, I think that was the day he came home from the hospital.
Probably so. Well, I think we're joined by our guest right now. Is this Alex Weisenmiller?
No, this is Riley.
Oh, Riley. How you doing, Riley?
Good, how are you?
Good. Welcome to the 2 Cent Sports and Entertainment Show. What's going on?
Nothing. I saw that you guys were about to talk about the playoffs and wanted to chime in as well with Alex.
Oh, great.
That's fine.
Well, what we'll do is we'll try and get you both on at the same time. Let's see if we can do this. This is going to be really fun and difficult at the same time. Ooh. Doesn't that sound cool? Will we have the ringing noise?
No.
No?
Yeah.
Alex Weisenmiller. Yes or no?
No.
Then who is this?
Riley.
No, I have two people on at the same time. Who's the other caller?
I'm right here.
Oh, there he is. There's Alex.
Jeez.
God. All right, well, Alex, welcome to the 2 Cent Sports and Entertainment Show. We actually have a guy named Riley, a caller named Riley on the show with us right now, who is wanting to chime in and get his comments with you.
All right, that's fine.
So, Alex, what are your thoughts on the Marty St. Louis big story that's going on right now?
I basically, well, first off, I guess we should say condolences to Marty St. Louis with his mother passing away.
Yep.
So, based off that, it's good to see the Rangers all attend the funeral, which was held today. So, I'm happy for them, and then congratulations on them winning Game 1 of the series. So, I believe that that's going to definitely inspire them motivationally and emotionally. Will play a big part in that series, which might help them win that series, actually.
Nothing makes my stomach turn more than seeing the Canadians and the Rangers in the Eastern Conference Finals. I'm absolutely disgusted by the performance of my Boston Bruins against the Canadians last week, or a couple days ago. And to see these two teams I absolutely hate being in the finals makes me sick to my stomach. But it is what it is. You got to win them all, and you don't play.
So, Alex, what do you think Marty St. Louis and all that has to go for the Lightning? The Lightning obviously want the New York Rangers to keep winning. What do you think that's going to bring for the oh, God, I can't even speak.
Actually, by the Rangers making the Eastern Conference Finals, that's as much as the Lightning can get.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, that's all they had to do.
Oh.
So once they made the Eastern Conference Finals, they got the better draft pick. So it's going to work out better for the Lightning. It's all good.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think it's going to help them out. It'll definitely help them media attention-wise, giving them all this stuff with Callahan that they're going to have to go over with the summer, and they'll have to re-sign him, obviously. And I believe they have 3 or 4 other big free agents, such as Andre Palat and Tyler Johnson, and that's just going to bring good PA media right back to them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think the Lightning – I mean – well, St. Louis, and I hate that his mother passed away and all that, but the situation was not a good situation. It never should have gone the way it did. I don't blame anybody that won't forgive him for what happened. I'm not going to say he's 100% to blame, but he is the biggest reason to blame. And he basically has done nothing for the Rangers since that trade. He's kind of starting to a little bit now with the playoffs are getting a little bit deeper, but for the most part, the Lightning has a better end of that trade. And, all I can say is, good riddance. And I'm kind of like a gentleman on a local radio station here too that just actually doesn't even want to use his name anymore or give him that much degree. I'm just, call it what it is. But I sympathize for the guy, but I'm not a supporter of his any longer.
I agree completely. I think the Lightning did get the better. Callahan played on the U.S. Olympic team when Marty St. Louis couldn't even, team, but it was also people getting injured. But I believe that Callahan's a much better two-way player and helps them succeed a lot more than St. Louis can and ever would have.
Yeah, and you get more years out of him. He's younger, and of course now that somehow the Rangers made it as far as they have, the Lightning actually get even a higher draft pick in return. So we'll see what I think they got some good scouts in there. They'll turn that into a decent pick, and it's the long-term deal as opposed to the short-term deal is what we got to look at. So
yeah, that's what hockey is. It's more of a process. You can't just build a team in 1 year and say, we're going to make a run for the cup and win. That just doesn't happen. All these teams that are competitive now, such as the Bruins, the Blackhawks, the Kings, they took years. 3 or 4 years ago, they just started getting into the playoffs and started competing as compared to some teams that have been around forever, such as the Red Wings and the Canadiens that know what it takes, and they have to build their franchise up and use young or old players to compete and contend for the cup.
Yeah, the Minnesota. Real quick, Zach.
No, you're good.
Because you touched on a point. Like the Minnesota Wild actually are one team that did try to do exactly what you said, try to buy their way to a Stanley Cup. And you're absolutely correct in what you said. In hockey, it just doesn't work like that, like it does in the NBA or even the NFL. You cannot buy a Stanley Cup. You have to. You can. Like the Minnesota Wild put a lot of money in a couple guys, and honestly, I think all that's done is handcuff their franchise. They at least finally made the playoffs this year. Did quite well. They were right there on the fringe. But you're right. You've got to have that experience, and all these teams that are in there, whether or not you feel they deserve it or not, they are there, and it's because they got that experience. Go ahead, Zach.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Sidney Crosby's the best player in the NHL, Alex.
This is what I deal with in school, and this is why
he's an antagonist.
We don't agree with each other in Mr. Messina's class.
Cindy Crosby is not the best hockey player in hockey.
Whatever.
Thank you. Just saying, he had 2 goals in at least 14 playoff games.
Hey now,
13 playoff games.
Disappeared worse this year than he did last year.
Who won the game for Canada?
The game was already over, and they played against half a Sweden team.
That's right.
And
what does that have to do with the NHL?
I don't know, but Alex and I sit there in class, and this is what we do.
You're an antagonizer, that's why.
I am. I love Sidney Crosby. He's a great player.
Cindy. Get it right.
Sydney.
Cindy.
Who the hell names their kids City? Shit, I don't know.
That's how you take care of him.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I've been dealing with this for a year, and
now you know how to get him. See, he gets flustered really easily. You just have to know how to get him.
All right.
But anyway, let's kind of get back to the subject at hand. I'm outside of the Lightning. I'm also a Bruins fan. I'm very disappointed this week. But the 4 teams that are left are what they are. The Kings look like they were dead in the water, down 3-0 in San Jose in the first round, and come back, win that series 4-3. And here they are. They're still storming through, and they won a cup just a couple years back themselves. That's about, out of the 4 teams left, that's about the only team I can stand, because I cannot stand the Chicago Blackhawks either. I honestly think the Chicago Blackhawks are going to win this thing again. What do you think?
I mean, it's hard to go against the team that won it last year and was down, I believe it was 2 goals in 2 minutes and scored 2 goals. So, I mean, I would agree with you there. Especially, my only concern for them is goaltending, because Crawford is a decent goaltender, but he is not even close to a goalie like Jonathan Quick, who started for the U.S. Olympic team. So that obviously shows his credentials. And then in the East, I don't see either of those teams beating either of the teams in the West if they do whoever it is, the Canadians or the Rangers. I don't think they have enough firepower to contend with the Blackhawks or the Kings.
Yeah, no, I tend to agree with you. Like I was saying before, the fact that the Bruins just failed to show up against the Canadians in that Game 7, I just did not see that coming. And I honestly believe that they would have rolled over the Rangers because of just the matchups themselves. But now we saw what the Rangers did to the Canadians. I think that there's a lot had to do with that the Rangers had a little bit more time off. The Canadians, this is a matchup type of game that I just don't think the Canadians match up well. And I try to tell Zach about matchups all the time, but he just doesn't quite get that concept sometimes. But this is, to me, this is a series the Rangers can win, as opposed to if it had been the Bruins. I don't think the Rangers had a chance against the Bruins. But now that it's against the Canadians, matchup wise, and obviously a 7-2 blowout yesterday is proof that, well, it's not proof. I mean, it's at least a good indicator that that's probably the case.
Yeah, I'm a Red Wings fan, so I've seen the Bruins work firsthand. I've been to a few of their games, and the way they play to win is they have to out physicalize you and play more physical and play old school hockey, if you will, dump and chase, and then use their skill guys such as Bergeron, Krejci, Marchand, and they count on them to score. And then you have
the fourth line,
Chara, who is a stud defenseman, and then you have Tuukka Rask, who's probably one of the best goalies in the NHL. And that surprised me when they couldn't beat the Canadians, who, after the Red Wings got out, that was who I thought was going to win the Cup, was the Bruins. But then I didn't see that surprise coming. But that's what the NHL playoffs are about, basically.
Yeah, that's it. The other thing that Boston usually does is they bring that fourth line and they use them a lot, and so they're a little bit more fresh than most teams. But I think that they did. I think they got beat at their own game. When they won that Game 5 and went up 3-2, that to me, I felt Game 4 was the game that was going to determine the series, because the Bruins were down 2-1. They ended up winning and made it 2-2, and I was like, well, the winner. I had said the winner of that game was going to be the winner of the series. Turns out I was wrong. The Bruins then won the next game, went up 3-2, and I thought, okay, we're good. And they won that game easily, and they got their butts kicked in Game 6, and I thought, all right, well, they'll be fine. They're coming home Game 7, and they were just flat, absolutely flat. And like you said, man, that's the NHL playoffs, and then you got to show up every night, and that's it. So, what happened to Riley anyway? Did he not have anything to say? Did he fall off?
No, we actually have Riley on hold. We're letting Alex finish, and because I learned how to operate this new phone system that we got to the studio. So I have Riley on line 1. He's listening to, I believe, Beethoven.
God. Okay. All right. I thought he was going to chime in together, but okay. However you want to do it, that's fine. So tell me something. Let's get on the subject with you. Zach had kind of introduced and said that you were going to possibly be playing for Michigan State hockey. Is that true?
Yeah, I'm being recruited by them for D1 or D2 right now. It depends. I'm probably going to play for this Tampa Bay Juniors team down in Ellington. We had tryouts last week for that.
Okay.
So I went to camp last summer in Notre Dame and Wisconsin to visit, but I don't think I'm going to go to Notre Dame. However, I could see myself playing for Wisconsin, and Michigan State would be a dream school. So it depends mostly on what happens with my juniors team here, and that'll determine if I can get any offers or get recruited by other schools as well.
Oh, that's pretty awesome. Let me ask you, how long have you been playing hockey, and are you originally from Florida?
He's Alex Weisenmiller.
Yeah, I'm from Florida. I've been here in the Tampa area. I've been skating since I was 3, and I've been playing since I was 5. So.
Well, the only reason I pose that question is because a lot of people feel that Florida and hockey don't mix, and that people from Florida can't make it in hockey. And you're an example, though, that hockey's only been in the area for about 20 some odd years now, and it's still a growing process. You're a young man yourself, so it takes time, but obviously, we do have some hockey programs here. And that was one other thing that bothered me about St. Louis also was how he, as he left, my sons need to go somewhere where there's better hockey. And his sons actually won the national championship with that junior team that you're talking about. So that statement made absolutely no sense whatsoever either. So,
Yeah.
But that's cool to hear about that, man, because, Michigan State's definitely no slouch when it comes to college hockey, that's for sure. So good luck to you on that.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Alex Weismiller.
What are you doing?
I don't know. He has a hockey reel on YouTube, and the first part is just the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Okay.
Oh, you're playing this?
Oh, no, I wasn't playing it. I was going to play it at break if that's cool with you so people could check out your hockey skills.
If you want to, that's fine.
I'll definitely play it. Don't
all
worry.
right.
I think it's the freaking awesomest thing ever.
All right, we'll do that then. Anyway, you got anything else you want to add?
Not really. Just that Sidney Crosby's not the best player in the world,
Whatever.
and that I'm going to say whoever wins the West will win the Cup for sure.
I agree with you. All right, well, thanks, Alex. Good luck with you on your hockey pursuit or your career and in college and so forth. And appreciate you being on the show.
How you
Thanks
doing?
for having me.
All right, there you have it. That's Alex Weisenmiller. And-
Yay!
Yeah, well, Zach, I thought you were going to...
Yes, you've reached the...
Oh, God, what's
What are
going
you doing,
I don't
Zach?
Dude, look, I'm off
You
today.
are killing me.
Look, I'm sorry.
What happened? So you lost a person on hold.
No.
Oh, okay. Well,
No, see, what sucks about this phone system is I have to go through the phone, then I have to go through the computer.
940.
But,
Yeah.
see, and then what happens is...
blame the system.
I am blaming the system.
Hmm.
Because what sucks about the system is they can't hear us. I found out. That's why there's such a problem.
Okay.
But we're gonna get him on here. He's this is Riley. Riley, welcome to the 2 Cent Show. I apologize for making you listen to music that long and then hanging up on you. My fault.
No problem.
So what do you got for us, Riley?
I mean, I was just gonna, whatever you guys were talking about, I would just kind of comment on it.
Well, we just got done talking NHL playoffs. We've talked Johnny Manziel, Michael Sam, a little bit of Tampa Bay Storm, etc.
It's et cetera, by the way.
Shut up.
What about the basketball? You guys talking NBA playoffs?
Oh, well, that's great.
Well,
Bring it on.
We haven't got there yet. But
Transition.
Since you brought it up, we can certainly do it somehow. The Indiana Pacers have found a way out of their funk and will be facing the Miami Heat today here in about 3 hours for Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals. I'm not really a big NBA fan any longer, but I casually follow it anymore. But so we got Game 1 there. OKC and San Antonio will be facing off in the Western Conference Finals. I think honestly, as the season progresses, these are the top four. These are the 4 teams I would have expected to be there. So here we are.
I think anyone that wins in the West is going to win it.
I agree.
Because I don't think the Heat have what it takes to win this year again.
No, the East is awful. I mean, they had a few teams, I believe, made it in the playoffs with. There was a few teams that didn't even have a 500 record.
There was yes, Atlanta.
The Celtics were at one point had 6 more losses than wins, and we were in the top of the East.
Lord,
our division.
Oh, I didn't know you played for the Celtics. So that's pretty cool.
How about them?
I'm just teasing.
How about them Magic though?
The Magic were okay. I mean, they did better than I thought they would.
Yeah, well.
I'm not a big Magic fan.
Yeah.
No. Down here. The East is weak. I agree with you. I think the West is good. San Antonio probably should have beat Miami the last time. I think San Antonio is probably going to come out again. They're solid. They really haven't had any funks throughout the season. You can easily say that any of these other teams left, especially Indiana, have all hit some point in the season where they just either didn't care and took a little break, if you will. But San Antonio really hasn't done that yet, and I just think that they're solid. They're definitely experienced, and that's my favorite to win it all. But otherwise, I really don't care.
Yeah, I'm the same. I'm a Celtics fan, so if the Celtics aren't in it, I could care less.
Well,
but I'd like to see San Antonio win it because I think they're in the same boat the Celtics were back in 2008. they're old. No one thinks they're going to win. No one thought they could do this, and I hope they beat the Heat. I think you're going to see Spurs and Heat this year.
Well, and let me ask you this, and I really would like to see the Heat lose. It makes me happy when the Heat lose. But one thing that's going around the basketball world, and, I'd like to get your comments on it. What do you think of what's going on with Donald Sterling?
Oh,
he
just stuck his foot in his mouth again this week.
I know.
I was going to bring that up. But
yeah, I think if like the lady wasn't recording, no one would even have heard about this. So I don't agree with the lifetime ban. I don't agree with the fine.
Really?
But there's no room for racism in the league. But on the flip side, no one would have even known how he felt if there was no recording about it.
Oh, they knew how he felt. He's got a history of it. That's the real issue. This isn't really like when this came out. It really wasn't shocking to anybody. It was just like it was like, oh, now we've got to deal with it because
when I read it on my phone, I was just kind of like, again, are you serious?
Yeah. No. I mean, he's had a history of this before, though, is what I'm saying, is the NBA is in the previous regime commissioner, they've refused to deal with it because he had been he had multiple lawsuits brought against him for discriminatory practices, especially Elgin Baylor, a former executive with his team, and he had discriminatory practices with all his real estate dealings and dealing with the Hispanics and the African Americans, discriminatory practices with his apartments. He had come out at one point. He had like disparaging remarks to say about the Korean community. This guy's got a history of it. It's just kind of been buried in or at least ignored by the NBA for so long, and now they had a chance to take action on it. I don't necessarily agree with how it came out. I mean, it was a violation of his civil rights, but I'm not defending the guy. It's just a fact that his rights were violated. However, it's bad for business.
Well, and,
you've got to take action on it.
Right, and I'll even play a little tidbit of Anderson Cooper and Donald Sterling in a little bit. But I have where he basically said that he was baited into saying all that.
Well,
what a liar! He's trying to cover his ass.
In the process of him trying to cover his ass, he actually just made it worse. And he knew he was making it worse because when he starts talking about Magic Johnson, it's like, what has he done? What has he done? I might get in trouble for this, but I might get in trouble again. But
what has Magic Johnson done? Would you like me to tell you?
Well, that's what Anderson Cooper tried to say, and then it's just like it was like the hole just kept getting bigger and bigger, and the more he kept trying to dig out of it, the more it's ridiculous. So, he had to be dealt with. There's no question about it. It's bad for business, and if you're in an association and you got a guy like this, it's going to drag your own business down, and you have a right to make sure that person is no longer associated with you and your league and your business. And I don't believe what they're doing right now is wrong in any aspect. They should have been dealt with a long time ago, though. That's the only problem. That's the only problem I see with it. But it's a shame too, because as much as I don't like the NBA, and would you stop clicking into the microphone?
Sorry. Damn it! I don't even mean to do. And I'll tell you, and I know Riley, I'm sure you understand. Have you ever heard? That new song "Animals," that dubstep song?
No.
Oh, well, you wanted to sound, I was making a joke about this, okay, is how music nowadays sounds, and this is legit how it sounds. You can legit open your mouth and go like this, and that's what the song sounds like.
I have no idea what you just...
I know.
Oh, man.
I'm sorry.
I don't know what I'm going to do with you, man.
It's all right. I'm sorry.
You've definitely taken one too many shots to the head. Oh man. Anywho, I guess we'll have to see how it all plays out. I think this is the last run for the Heat, and I like the West on this one. We had a couple other things that happened though this week too. Did you happen to see Roddy White of the Atlanta Falcons? His brother was shot to death.
No, I didn't hear about that or see about that.
Yeah, pretty bad. It's a half brother, but he was died of gunshot wounds and
shot outside of a nightclub. Correct?
Yeah, more than likely.
It's rough.
The Lake House Club on Mosquito Beach, I believe, is what it was called. And just one of those things that good things don't necessarily happen after
That's
midnight.
true.
So
No, that's true.
I'm not a fan of Roddy White, but I certainly hate to see that kind of thing happen to anybody. And that's tough. It's tough.
By the way, on that music thing that I just did, I got a comment saying that is so freaking true.
Okay. Did you write that to yourself?
No,
Oh, okay.
it's
at the rate you're going.
Wow.
Yeah, and also the other thing that I saw too, just another feel-good story actually. The Saints. I don't know if you all remember at Tulane, a football player,
Yes.
that Devin Walker, safety, who went and made a tackle and was paralyzed from the neck down in 2012. It was his graduation day at Tulane yesterday, or I think it was yesterday or the day before, and the Saints, kind of ceremoniously signed him to a contract, a la what they did here at the Buccaneers and former Rutgers. So that was kind of a neat little.
Well, and it was his dream to be signed by a pro team, and I think it's a fantastic thing for the Saints to have done.
Yeah, it was a good thing. I mean, like I said, they did the same thing here, with the Buccaneers and the kid from Rutgers. So it's cool. It's cool.
Yeah.
And I saw that, and I thought that was a pretty neat little feel-good story. Anyway, with all the outside all the negative stuff that's going on out there.
So, Riley, you got anything else for us? We're up against a little quick break.
Well, what about this Eagles signing the U.S. Army Ranger? You guys hear about that one?
I did not.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, the Eagles signed an Army Ranger named Alejandro Villanueva.
Oh yeah.
No, I didn't hear about that.
Yep,
Go ahead.
Yep. Well, go ahead. You brought it up.
6'9", 277 pounds.
Holy
so
shit!
He's a big boy.
Hey, language.
Sorry.
Oh,
not you. Not you, Riley.
No, I'm sorry. That's insane. My fault.
Yeah, and I did actually hear about that. Pretty cool. But that's definitely a big boy, and whether or not he makes the team or not, obviously, is a whole other issue altogether. But we'll see how that works out for him. But it's getting closer and closer, it seems like, to the NFL season, and mini camps all going on this week. I think the next most exciting part about what's about to happen is when it gets closer to camps here in July, and we start seeing guys get released, and you got that, what, if you will, second wave of free agents out there, and see what's going to transpire.
yes, sir.
That's about it.
All right, Riley. Well, we appreciate the call, man. Thanks for taking the time to check out the 2 Cent Sports and Entertainment Show.
Yeah, you guys have a good day.
All right, you
Thanks,
got it.
you too.
Thanks.
Now, Riley is actually somebody who invited me to be in his fantasy league, and I'm going to kick your butt. Just like I did in Steve's league until Steve beat me. I was like, what the heck?
I beat you down.
I was pissed, too. Like, I was
put you back in
talking
your place.
so much crap.
You were.
Well, and I had a great team, too. But you
Apparently not.
You came up, bro.
I did.
But we actually have a whole bunch of people texting me, hey, can I call? So what I figured we could do is 813-639-8255, and I promised Alex I'd play the hockey reel. So while we try and get some more callers on the line, let's just check that out a little bit so you guys can see what Alex is all about.
Hello, I'm Alex Wesmiller. Hockey has always been a passion of mine. I've been playing since the age of 5. My first paying job was as a level 1 official. As a left-handed shot, I play forward. I'm one of the fastest skaters in the state of Florida.
I hate officials. What was that?
They don't like you either.
I know.
Ice hockey has been and is a permanent part of Alex Weismiller's life. Now he is ready to progress to the next level. Alex is a left-handed shooting forward. He is one of the fastest forwards playing hockey in the entire state of Florida. Doug Crossman, former National Hockey League defenseman who has worked with Alex, has called Alex the fastest skater he has ever seen in any level of play. Here are some samples of Alex Weismiller's numerous hockey talents.
That's pretty good, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. I think he needs to get somebody else to do the voice, though.
Like me?
It almost sounded like that was a robot speaking.
It probably was.
I don't think that is a good thing. Dang, he is fast. Look at that. He's got that one step, that first step.
Great hockey player. I go to a lot of the Steinbrenner games. He's phenomenal.
I didn't even know you had a hockey team.
We do. We actually combine with Sickles and Gaither. Yuck.
Where do you play at?
TBSA and Bradenton.
Okay. Well, I guess where else are you going to play?
Oh.
I used to go to our high school hockey games. Those were just like brutal.
I'm glad I saw that goal.
Weisenmuller believes it is important to pass on his depth of hockey knowledge to younger players. Alex did so by working with a local development hockey team comprised of 10-year-olds. He has also helped to do so when attending summertime hockey and skating camps. These are but some of the many teams that Alex has played for over his 10-year-long hockey career.
Yep.
He has been able to ice skate since the age of 3, has played in some form of organized hockey since the age of 5, and his first paying job at age 12 was as a USA Hockey sanctioned Level 1 linesman and referee.
And I make fun of him for it.
Weisenmuller was featured in 2 TV commercials when he was only a freshman high school hockey player. This naturally ties in with his major to be in college, sports advertising and marketing. He has received straight A's in these courses since starting them in high school. His cumulative grade point average is 3.8. He's also registered on the NCAA Eligibility Center website, the International Hockey Scouting website rinknet.com, and other hockey-related websites. Thus, Weisenmuller excels academically and also with his many hockey skills. Attending hockey and skating camps in 10 different American states have helped him to do things such as this. Everything shown and presented so far has presented Alex Weisenmuller's considerable skills. Here are some of his vital statistics and how to get in contact with him.
And there you go.
All right.
Here
it is.
Mistake, and I'm apologizing, and I'm asking for forgiveness. Am I entitled to one mistake? Am I, after 35 years?
One mistake.
I mean, I love my league. I love my partners. Am I entitled to one mistake?
I love my league and I love my
terrible
people.
mistake.
Obviously, you don't, because your whole team is made of.
I just wanted to have sex with her.
And I'll never do it again.
The vice president of the NBA Players Association, Roger Mason, he said that the players won't accept anyone in the Sterling family owning the Clippers. Not you, not your wife, not your son-in-law, not your daughter. Do you believe that?
I really don't know. The people that are going to decide my fate, I think, are not the media and not the players union, but the NBA.
The owners.
Pardon me?
The owners.
The owners.
No.
If the owners feel I deserve another chance, then they'll give it to me.
But there is a path for you to fight their decision, isn't there?
Of course. But if you fight with my partners, what at the end of the road, what do I benefit? And especially at my age, if they fight with me and they spend millions and I spend millions.
Exactly, just go away.
Let's say I win or they win. I just don't know if that's important.
What?
I mean, he just made a fool. I mean, he's a fool.
He is.
Seriously.
He's an ignorant fool. I don't want to hear about it. He's old. I don't care about that. This guy is a piece of shit.
Wow.
Now, there's my language. My
My
language, too. You're right. He's a piece of crap.
But it's okay. I mean, again, this is an uncensored show
I
to
know, but
an extent.
I still try not to swear if I can help it.
Yeah, I know. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, the more he just kept going on into that interview. We don't need to play the whole thing. I think most everybody by now has seen it and heard it.
And later on in the interview, I was baited. Bullshit.
Yeah, but I would say anything to have sex with her.
And ladies and gentlemen, joined by is this Fernando? Hello.
Yeah.
Welcome to the 2 Cent Sports and Entertainment Show. Fernando is joining us again. He seems like he enjoys calling into the show. What's up?
Not much. Just checking on my radio guys.
That's right. So obviously you saw we were talking about little Donald Sterling. Your thoughts?
If he hold on one second. Wait. If Fernando keeps calling in, we're going to have to start playing a theme song for him.
Fernando.
Well, no, there's a song out.
Oh, is there?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there is. There's a Fernando song.
Well,
Yeah, he's. I've already got it.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah.
Well, you can't play it because no one will hear it.
Well, that's not true.
Oh, go ahead.
Can you hear that?
Yeah. Oh, here's great.
Oh.
This is awesome.
It's going to pick up.
You know he's going to make fun of me now with this at school.
That's not my fault. Or maybe it is.
That's awesome. There's no way.
Oh my god.
Oh, it picks up. This is just like the beginning.
We're jackasses.
Fernando. Here it comes. Here it comes. Wait a minute. Fernando. Okay, anyway.
That's awesome.
Hey, if you're going to be a regular caller, you might as well have its own theme song.
Yes, just like Mike Buchash has
although I
his.
guess we don't have copyrights to play that song, so.
So?
All right, anyway. Welcome back to the show, Fernando. As we digress
Glad to
just
be
a little-
back.
No worries. What were you calling in about today?
Oh, damn.
Oh, I don't know. I felt like talking about that lopsided Storm game that happened yesterday.
What did I just tell you? I told you over the phone we are not. We should. I mean, we'll discuss.
We're not going to tell him what he can.
Yes, I can.
That's what he
I do
came in to
whatever
call about. We'll talk about it.
Go ahead.
It was extremely lopsided. It was just piss poor
Wow.
effort, and they that's not what they looked like at the beginning of the season.
No, it isn't at all. And I don't know if they're going to find it back either. It just doesn't seem like they're interested in doing that. We'll see.
Well, like Cooper's been telling me, they honestly need a new quarterback.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no question. I mean, that's the biggest thing, and when you don't have the right quarterback, and then the quarterbacks that you do have, they don't trust them.
Yeah,
it's hard to continue. So
it's rough. I mean, I think that Hipper being on the IR doesn't mean a damn thing, really.
It at least can set them in a new direction. If even if not for this year, at least to work the rest of this year into next year and realize, he's not the guy you need at quarterback, and this is an opportunity. They have to keep bringing in different guys every week until they find the right one. Then, this is the perfect opportunity. They're clearly not, looking to make the playoffs. I'm sure they still are in the back of their mind, but they don't look like they're going to be making the playoffs. So keep bringing in quarterbacks till you find one that looks like he might be your guy for next year, and go from there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's unfortunate. I mean, this week they'll be here for the Jacksonville Sharks game this Saturday, and I believe it starts at 7 or 7:30, one of the two. And I think that hopefully, we can rebound here. It's been a rough year, to be quite honest. I mean, Scuba and I were talking about it earlier. I think they, and me and him both came to agree that they just quit. And it was pretty evident.
And I hate to say that about any professional team, no matter what level of profession it is, that a team just quits. But you can say what you want, it happens, and this is evident.
Yeah.
Unless I see something different this week, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how you can say otherwise.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And I mean, I think that losing Chris Smith was a big, huge loss for us. Him being our top secondary cornerback. But you know what? We need help, folks. So, Fernando, when you turn 18, please try out for the Tampa Bay Storm. We'd love to have you.
I'll start working.
Thank you.
We can make that happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think I can help the quarterback situation. If I'm going to help out the team, I need a quarterback to get me the ball.
Wow. Well, the thing is
you're a little Chad Johnson in this.
I know.
Give me the damn ball.
Yeah, I feel.
Or was that Keyshawn?
That's
sorry.
little
That's
Justin
Keyshawn.
Hilton too. Oh.
I got it. Maybe I'll play quarterback, throw it in the air, run as fast as I can, catch it, and score the touchdown. That's what we're
like
gonna do.
Bugs
that
Bunny
other-
action.
No, it's like that. What's I didn't catch. I don't remember his name, but yeah, he throws a pass to himself, like a 40-yard pass downfield.
I
to
saw
himself.
that.
There was a lot of question about whether or not it was real, but apparently it was.
Yeah, I saw that. It was pretty crazy, but
Yeah, Zach's clueless. He has no idea what we're talking about.
Yeah, I do. I know exactly what it is.
Jeez, settle down, Beavis. My goodness. Anyhow. Well, anyway, what got anything else there, Fernando?
nope. Just
You coming out?
Dylan?
You coming out to the game this week? Come out to the game this week.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be awesome.
the Storm game.
Yeah,
Hell yeah!
Saturday night.
I'll try. That's what I was hoping for.
All right.
I was trying to go yesterday, but because Zach told me that they played Jacksonville this weekend, he confused it all up.
I screwed it up really bad. I thought they played Jacksonville this week, and then I found out they played Philly this week, and I was like, shh.
You are a mess.
It's been rough.
Yeah, come out Saturday. I'll hook you up with tickets.
Thank you.
Yeah, we got some great tickets for you. You'll be able to come check out Coach Cooper and the Scuba-nator, Scuba Steve Myers.
Just get with Zach. We'll arrange it for you. How
Yeah.
about that?
Thank you, guys.
Bring
Yeah,
a
man.
friend.
Bring your daddy. Your daddy's a boss. Or you can bring your sister.
I'll bring. No, I'm not bringing my sister. I'll bring my dad.
Oh,
You are not. Cooper, remember what we said at lunch?
Yes,
That's like a player.
I know.
Uh-oh.
Because I'm his coach. You know, I've been coaching Fernando for like 3 years, and it's really weird because he's technically my player, so I'm talking about my player's younger sister. So that's really weird.
That's kind of gross too.
It's all right. She's hot.
Dude, perv. All right.
She's
Well-
like 15.
Okay.
No, she's not. She's 13.
Oh, that's not what I thought.
All right.
Oh.
Boy, oh boy. Okay. Well, anyway, Fernando, the tickets are yours. Get up with Zach. I'll arrange it for you. And those 2 tickets are for you.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you, Fernando.
All right. See you guys.
Good night.
Have a great day.
You too. We're playing your song.
I know. I hear it. Fernando.
Thanks, man.
You got to jump.
All right.
You got to jump about 2 minutes in.
Okay.
Ready? Here we go, Fernando.
Fernando.
All right. I think we've officially lost it here in the 2 Cent Sports and Entertainment Show.
All right, Fernando. Thanks for the call.
Thanks again, Fernando. We'll see you next
You're
week.
welcome. See you guys.
Oh.
See, I can bring a little bit something. You're gonna have to from now on. You're gonna have to make just make that that chorus part.
Yeah.
Just break that down into a clip. So when he calls in from now on, that has to be.
You know
played.
what we should do so it's not copyright is I'll sing it.
Whatever. And we'll take our chances.
Yeah, I don't really
until they
care.
bust us down. It's only one little part. We're not playing the entire song. So, at any rate, that's pretty funny.
That's awesome.
I did go to the transitioning a little bit off
Bring
sports
it.
and going to the entertainment side of things,
Okay.
since we're kind of winding things down anyway,
Yep.
and we're clearly losing it, and I'm definitely losing about 5 pounds. It's so dang hot in this studio.
Yeah, you know
right
what? I'm turning it down.
It's too late. You already moved it down 2 degrees because it was sitting at 79 before. Now it's at 77.
Well, I'm going to change that right now.
Well, it's only a couple minutes. At this point, it's not. What's the point?
I mean, honestly, if these people could see my armpit sweat.
I can smell it from
Oh,
here.
can
through,
you?
Through the glass, I
Oh,
can
good.
smell it. Well, we're only here for a few minutes, so what's the point of turning it down? Zach.
What's up?
Seriously, what's the point of turning it down at this point? We're going to be out of here in a few minutes. So at this point, it's too late. Should have said something sooner, but it's god awful hot in here.
Sorry.
Anyway, so I went to the movies last night. We had a night without the baby, so we had date night. We went and saw Godzilla.
Oh, Lord.
IMAX 3D.
How was that?
Here's my take on it.
Okay.
Okay, first of all, it's not necessary to see in IMAX 3D. It's not even necessary to see it in 3D. I love IMAX 3D, but this movie clearly was not really filmed for that purpose.
Yeah.
So it's just a money scam at this point for IMAX 3D. There was nothing special 3D-wise at all. And, I mean, IMAX is cool because it's a huge screen, but I'm just going to tell you, if you're going to go see Godzilla, there's really no need to see it in IMAX 3D or 3D for that matter. There really wasn't much in the way of 3D effects to make it worth spending that extra money for. So seeing it in 2D is going to be just fine.
Now, how was the movie?
I'm getting there. Jeez Louise.
Listen.
All right. No, you listen, because this is my time to talk about the movie.
It's my time.
All right. So anyway, well, I'm just giving a preface that if you're going to go see the movie, which I'm not going to say that you shouldn't, it's not bad, but I will say this, that it is they took far too much time to develop the backstory, which I don't believe in the end was necessary, because the backstory scenes that they did put in the movie just ended up being unnecessary. It could have been summarized in some other way or a lot quicker manner. I'm trying not to give away too much.
Well, no, I'm going to be oblivious because I've never seen Godzilla or any of the Godzilla movies. What is the backstory behind, oh my God, big thing trampling buildings?
Well, I mean, most people are anybody familiar with Godzilla at all kind of pretty much knows that it's basically got something to do with, nuclear radiation and so forth. That's just
I had
really
no
it.
idea.
But the point of this movie is that they took a lot of time getting the backstory to, with regards to characters, how this came to be, and so forth and so on. And then, you really could have just made a whole movie on that part in and of itself.
Yeah.
And it just made the movie drag a little bit. And then, then ultimately, because of the way the movie progresses, it ultimately became unnecessary to have taken as much time as they did getting to another point in the movie. Again, I'm trying not to give away too much because I don't want to be spoilers. So without giving it away, I thought the movie also focused too heavily on the human characters that were involved in the film. They blew several opportunities for which they could have had more monster action scenes. And every time I thought that they were going to have a big monster action scene, they cut back to more human interaction and more character development. And the thing with the Godzilla movies is it's always focused more on the monster scenes, whether it just be Godzilla on himself or Godzilla versus, Mothra or Godzilla, or whatever the movie happens to be, or whatever monster he's Megatron or whatever he's fighting that week. And they blew a couple opportunities there. I thought the CGI was excellent. The movie wasn't bad. I just felt that it needed more monsters and less people, way less people. It was long. The movie was it felt like it was longer than it really was. It's about 2 hours, but it felt like 3. And then when they finally did get to some action scenes, it was actually very good. But they could have had so much more of it, and I think that would have made the movie that much better. So basically, I'm not saying don't go see the movie, but I would say that don't waste your money on the IMAX or the 3D part. It's not necessary. And I just felt that they should have had a little more monster, a little less people. It would have been so much better in the long run.
Well, and I mean,
And just so you know, like the main character too is Kick-Ass.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I actually found out, and they put it out in the, I believe it was the new Avengers movie. Kick-Ass is actually going to be the main villain in the movie.
What? Who? What?
Aaron Johnson
is what?
Going to be the main villain in the Avengers 2.
Oh! I missed that part. I missed the Avengers part. No. I was like, main villain. What are you talking about?
Yeah, Kick-Ass is going to be the major villain in the Avengers 2.
Okay.
So that's going to be a pretty interesting take on how they work the Avengers around that. I don't understand how that's going to work because Kick-Ass has no powers.
No, he doesn't. Not really.
You don't understand. I'm making a joke here.
Mm-hmm.
You don't like it?
No.
Okay.
No, not at all.
Sorry.
Anywho, so I don't know. So it really wasn't a bad movie. It was just, like I said, I think if they just did, went back to, it's certainly better than the Godzilla movie they tried to do about 10 years ago, and even better than the Godzilla movie they tried to do a few years even before that.
And then the 15 Godzilla movies they did before that.
Those are classics, man. I mean, you get over all. I mean, those were cheesy Japanese movies, and they were with it. But you know what? They were classics, and they were enjoyable. As bad and as phony as they were, they actually had some humor in them, which was also fun about them. So, but they were also more action packed too, and that's what I felt I thought that's what I was going to get from this one, and it just wasn't as much as I thought.
Have you seen Spider-Man 2?
I have not. I thought about doing that after the show, as a matter of fact, but I'm not sure if I'm going to do that or not.
Oh, well,
I've been hearing so many bad things about it.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not even sure I want to.
Well, I haven't heard anything bad about it, really.
Have you heard anything good about it?
No.
Okay, well then, you haven't heard anything bad about it either.
Yeah, that's true.
I haven't. I mean, I've heard bad things about it. As opposed to hearing anything at all.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm either going to do that or I'm going to do something else. I'm probably going to do something else. I got the whole day to myself.
Right, and I'm headed over to the Best Buddies Masquerade Ball.
You certainly do need a mask.
Yeah, but I'm heading over. That's 4 to 7, so I'm going to be all suited up. I'm going to look good, and I'm really looking forward to that. I've been looking forward to that for a few months now, so it should be a pretty fun event.
You've been slicking up a lot lately.
I know. Yeah, but... I'm really looking forward to it, and I can't wait till it starts, and I really probably won't want it to end. So
That's right. Well, with that being said, then I don't have anything else. You got anything else?
No, I've got nothing else.
Well, I want to thank our guests today. Alex Weisenmiller and Zealand Shannon, and our callers Riley and Fernando, and everybody that was out listening today. Appreciate everybody's input, and as always, we will take your calls and give you all the time that you need that we have.
Yeah.
If you haven't done so already, I don't know why, but get on the 2 Cent Sports and Entertainment Show Facebook page, give us a like, share it with amongst your friends.
Yeah.
And spread the word about the show. We could definitely use some more audience. And we are hitting kind of a dead part of the season, I call it. There's not a whole lot of sports stuff going on.
That was so funny, yeah, because I texted Steve last night. I'm like, what the hell are we going to talk about today?
So, we're always scheduled for 2 hours, but, we may cut them short from time to time here until July, and then we have to start figuring out when we're going to move the show. So if you are a listener of the show, right now, obviously this time works for you. We are contemplating moving into a Saturday morning, early enough prior to college football starting and so forth, but we don't want to interfere in NFL games because 11 to 1 would just be stupid.
Right, and we both have season tickets, so it would be really stupid.
Yeah, we'd be having...
Unless we did, 8 live remotes from the parking lot of the Bucks place,
we
but that's obviously not happening.
There's no time or attention to be able to do that. So we won't be doing that. So we're contemplating moving the show to Saturday mornings, maybe a 9 to 11 Eastern Standard Time. Give us your opinions on that. We'll probably shoot out messages and stuff like that and seek some opinions. We want to make sure that we do move it to a good time that, that we're not going to interfere with games going on and that we're not going to lose you as an audience. So stay tuned. We got a couple months yet for that. And again, any suggestions, anything you want to talk about, you're always welcome to post or give a twat over to Zach. And with that being said, before I officially sign off, I'll give it back to him for all the particulars, and we'll be right back.
Boom. Basically, you check us out on the Facebook. That is 2 Cent Sports and Entertainment Show. Give us a like, share it with your friends, message us. Scoob and I will respond to you probably right then and there, if we're available. Make sure, and if you'd like to sponsor the show, give me a call, 813-344-9964. That is the 2 Cents business office number, available at all hours. I'd like to thank our sponsors, Bootash and Donovan of the Bootash and Donovan Law Firm. Also, they are the Bootash and Donovan hotline, www.bootashdonovan.com. 813-341-2232 if you need a attorney. Definitely give them a call. Thank you, Tech Media Partners, Thomas Wilsey, who is the owner of Tech Media Partners. You are the bomb. Follow me on Twitter at 2 Cent Zach. Follow me on Instagram at 2 Cent Zach. Add me on Facebook, 2 Cent Zach. I believe that is all from me. Also, quick shout out to Alex Weisenmiller at Weisenmiller_13 for his Twitter. Goodbye. I'm done for the day. That is me.
Nice one. All right, and that's it for me too. Your host, Scuba. This is the 2 Cent Sports and Entertainment Show. Thank you for listening. We'll be back again next Sunday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. potentially. And I thank you. We're out.
This program was brought to you by the Internet Broadcasting Organization, setting the standard for new media broadcasting.